7E, MSU Extension. And thank you very much for your attendance.
Next up is MSU Extension. Got Edward Scott here with us this afternoon. There's no new labor positions in the recommended budget for this department. We have total expenses in the general fund of $963,980. That's up 3% from the 2017 amended, and that's mainly from three main increases. $7,600 increase in the appropriation contract with MSU, a $2,000 increase from shared security services, and then finally $8,500 for one AmeriCorps member. So basically about total increases of about $18,100 from those items.
All right, very good. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Edward Scott with MSU Extension. I think I've been in front of most of you before, so I just want to thank you for taking the time this afternoon to listen to what I have to say and to ask me any questions. Just a couple of things that I want to highlight. And I came before you earlier this year with our annual report, but MSU Extension did serve over 30,000 Macomb County residents this year through our vast array of programming and services that are all designed to enhance people's quality of life, people's health, and the general sort of aesthetic placemaking status of Macomb County. We really value our partnership with Macomb County. We think it's a great place to work and play and live, and many of our staff do that. We're also really thankful for, continued partnership. The amount of funding from the county that goes into MSU's coffers through this current arrangement is right under $450,000, I believe. And for that investment, we're really excited to be able to say that we give you a very good return on that. Based on the private sector's estimate of what a volunteer's hour of service is worth, MSU Extension volunteers and Master Gardeners and 4-H provide about $700,000 worth of labor. And that shows up in the form of youth development programs through 4-H. It shows up in the form of Master Gardeners providing classes and educational activities at various farm markets. And that's just our volunteer labor force. The salaried labor force that we invest in here in Macomb County is closer to around $2 million. And so I brought those figures up just because I want to show you that investing in MSU Extension is worthwhile for Macomb County, and we thank you very much for the partnership we've had so far. We look forward to continuing that. And so, having said that, I am open to any questions you might have.
Thank you very much. Do we have a motion to receive and file? We have a motion by Romano, support by Kraft. Commissioner Kleinfeld.
Thank you, Chair. You said from our coffers about 450,000?
Yes. Let me pull up the exact number here. So, as a part of the MSU Extension budget, there's an appropriation of in 2017, this year it was 410,000, and within the recommended request for this coming year, it's going to be 416,189. That's what I have.
Where's that in our paperwork? Finance guys?
It's included in supplies and services.
Well, supplies and services are expenditures. What do you mean it?
Well, we pay the 416,000 for the services. So the supplies and services line item.
Okay, so at the bottom where it says revenues over under expenditures, where you have, say in 2018, it's 935,440. That's not from our general fund.
I'm not following word.
So the supplies and services is 430, right? 059. Is that what you're looking at? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I mean, the 18 would be 442. Are we looking
Got
at
it. Yes, yeah, looking at the same thing.
442? So if you drop that down to the revenues under expenditures of 963, 980, that's not our cost. This isn't our budget.
No, this is our budget. That's the money that's coming out
Okay,
of the
so
general fund.
so the 450 isn't correct for us. It's 963.
That's for the entire program.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that, because that number didn't sound right. And just with respect to the grants, you know, the revenues obviously are just almost nothing at this point for the MSU grants of 308. So the fund balance is consistently dropping. We're going to be down to 100,000, and it looks like that's going to be gone in a couple of years. What are you going to lose, and are you going to be looking for us to pick up expenditures related to that?
No, the fund balances that exist are largely from older grants that funded programming that is either no longer happening in the same way that it was, or that has been brought within the scope of the services that we provide outside of grant funding. And so with those accounts, we're essentially looking at spending them down.
Okay.
And it won't mean additional cost to the
Okay,
county
thank you.
when they're gone.
Thank you very much. Chairman Smith.
Thank you, Chair. I really don't have a question for you, but since Bill walked back in and Rhonda's still here, I just wanted to give a brief. Commissioner Carabelli had to miss today because he's on the Selective Services Board, and he's at training all week, and Commissioner Toko's mother had major surgery today, so she's not here. So I'm sure they wanted us to at least let you know that they weren't missing for nominal reasons.
Sure.
But anyway, thank you very much for your presentation. I just wanted to get that out while everybody was here. Thanks.
Any other comments or questions? Commissioner Drollet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
There you are.
Thanks for being here. Just quickly on the contract services going from 11.5 to 22, what is actually being contracted? What is the cause of that increase? If I'm looking at the
11.5 to
contract services under 2017 amended was 11.5 on page 94. So contract service went from 11.5 under 2017 amended to 22,000 under 2018 recommended. And that's a substantial increase if you look back through a couple years prior to that when it was as low as 458 or 8,000 or 5,000.
Sure. So the increase that you're talking about, I believe, is directly related to our request for an AmeriCorps volunteer. We will be using $8,500 to pay. I don't know how familiar you are with the way AmeriCorps works, but the agencies that receive a volunteer are required to pay a match.
I see.
Typically between $8,000 and $10,000, depending on what kind of program it is. Our cost is $8,500, and so we're requesting those funds to pay that match. AmeriCorps volunteers are really a phenomenal resource.
Shouldn't we call
to
them
take
like
advantage of.
employees instead of volunteers if they're costing us money?
We can't. We can't. There's actually some.
Oh,
some
we're
really,
required to say the word volunteer?
Very, very
Okay.
particular policy around being.
Can I
able
at
to
least
call
do
them
this when we say volunteer?
You could call them. You could call
No.
them a. You could refer to them as an AmeriCorps member who receives a stipend,
Okay,
and that's a large part of what the cost that we incur.
right. So what would the AmeriCorps member that receives a stipend be doing?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. Last year, this commission approved some funding that allowed us to reclassify one of our positions, one of our people who focuses on teaching youth about natural resources and water quality. And we were able to do that. And that person ended up boosting our numbers reached probably by about 20%, actually, largely because we received funding last year to have an AmeriCorps member to assist. So this is actually a renewing of the current AmeriCorps contract for a second year. AmeriCorps, and this person does some similar work, does some administrative tasks to take some of those off the plate of our regular staff member, which frees up their time.
But if we're renewing it, why is the number doubling from last year?
The number's not doubling from last year. Last year, we found some funds through an older grant that was expiring to pay for the AmeriCorps member. This year, those funds were exhausted, and so we've asked for it from the county.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments or questions? We have a motion, we have support. Can you please vote? If this thing comes. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank
Well
you.
done.